Hello and welcome to Tools to Create a Better Life with myself, Glenyce Hughes. Thank you so much for being here. I am so incredibly grateful for each and every one of you. So this week's show, the problem with problems. Oh, there's so many problems with problems, my sweet friends. And I really just started getting this in the last few years. And of course, the tools that I share on this show are from Access Consciousness. And it really was when I started studying the tools back in 2011 that it really opened me up to looking at all sorts of different things. And one of them is this problem thing. So I used to be, and probably to some degree still am, a very good problem solver. The problem with being a problem solver is that you then have to always have a problem to solve. Oh, my goodness. Everything that is. Will you destroy and uncreate it all? Right, wrong, good, bad, all nine, pod, poc, shorts, boys, and beyonds. If you're not familiar with that, that's the Access Consciousness clearing statement. It works like a magic wand. So as I'm talking about this stuff, whether you're aware of it or not, there's different things going on. There's different energies coming up. There might be some resistance to it. There might be some like, oh yeah, that's true for me, or who knows, a bunch of things in between. And what the clearing statement does is it takes all of those energies and dissipates it so that you have more choice available. You have more awareness available. So next time a problem comes up, you may not choose to dive into it like you would have in the past. And maybe you will. Who the heck knows? But it's a possibility. If you want more information about it, you can go to theclearingstatement.com on how it works. Oh, so the problem with problems. One of the biggest ones I would say for myself personally is how much it actually distracts us from choosing something different. I'm going to repeat that. Problems distract us from choosing something different. Yeah, I know, right? So what occurs is the problem comes up, and the lie that we buy is that we have to figure out the problem before we can change it. It's not true, guys. That in itself is the distraction. When you're trying to figure out why you keep choosing to get drunk every night, let's say, then you're never going to figure it out because there's never a response to why. Okay? We choose, just like everybody else on the planet, we choose what we choose because we choose it. The minute we add a story to it, I choose to get drunk every night because I hate my work, because I don't like my kids, because whatever that because is actually a lie. And it becomes this, what I call this hamster wheel. And it's not actually true. If you do choose to get drunk every night, you choose to get drunk every night because you choose to get drunk every night. When you are willing to acknowledge that, you can change it. But if you go to the story of, I get drunk every night because my kids are bad, then your kids have to change for you to make a different choice, which keeps you as a victim to them, and you'll never ever be able to create greater. So first step is to really look at what are your becauses. So I would just pick one area that you've decided there's a problem, and then look at what you've decided the becauses are. Why? No. Don't look at why, because that will just get you on the hamster wheel and won't change it. But really start acknowledging when you're choosing to go to becauses. Really start getting present with yourself. You don't have to tell anybody else what you're doing. This is just for you, just for fun. Never tell anyone, so that you can start to be more aware of it. And then the thing with that is you could look at it and say, staying with this example of getting drunk every night, and then you could look at, okay, so what is it going to take for me to choose different? So maybe you get all the alcohol out of the house, or maybe you go stay with some friends for a while that don't drink or something. I'm just being silly with ideas about it. But really look at, like, what is it actually going to take? Because if you stay in the problem, you're spinning and spinning and spinning, and you get to spin there all the time, which is, this is the other piece. This is why people love problems, because they don't have to create greater. They can still feel like they're doing something and working towards something when really they're just entertaining themselves with the problem. And then you can look at, okay, so if I would like to change it, what can I be and do different today to change that? And actually really look at that. Like, not just, oh, what can I be or do different to change it? La-di-da. Oh, look, there's alcohol, going to drink it now. I just laugh that I'm using this as an example because I don't actually drink that much. Every once in a while, but not really that much. My body doesn't tend to love it too much. Apparently my little kitty Toddy would like to say hello. So yeah, squirrel. Wow, how does it get any better than this? Okay, so when we're looking at the problems and we're going into the distraction of, oh, this is because, or why is this happening? Then you want to look at, what can I be and do different to change it? And then really look at what some things might be. Like, there might be some things you need to put in place. There might be some sort of thing you need to set up with yourself. So a few months ago, I really wanted to use, I've got these Arena Strength, that's the brand name, they're resistance training brands. And I use them a lot, but I wasn't doing the full 30-day program. And I wanted to, and I had my becauses, and it was just like, no, what can I be or do different to change this? And so what I looked at with it, I'm also an affiliate with them. So if you guys are interested in really amazing resistance bands, there'll be a link somewhere or you can reach out to me for it. Anyway, so what I looked at was, what do I require to put in place? So I texted my family and just said, hey, who wants to do a 30-day challenge? So some of them signed up. We started our own little texting group, and that's really what kept me inspired. And I know for myself that I require stuff like that. So then rather than go, oh, why aren't I doing it? Oh, I sure wish I would do it. Oh, I'm wrong for not doing it. It's like, no, what's required? Okay, accountability. All right, got it, set it up. It still took me 32 days to do a 30-day program, but I'm still pretty impressed with that. So, so looking at it from that perspective, like, what would you need to put in place? What would you need to change? How would you need to set things up? For some people, maybe they really don't like getting up late. So, they start putting their alarm clock across the room. So they would have to get out of bed to go shut it off. Like, really get so creative and so curious. And I always say, like, just know you. Just know you. Trust that you'll always do what you've always done. So I can trust that for me, if there's some sort of like a 30-day program like that I am going to excel if I have other people to play with than if I do it by myself. Now, chances are, the more that I do it with other people, the more ease that I'll have with eventually one point being able to do it on my own, and maybe not. And either way, just find the way that works. Because otherwise you're going to spin in the distraction, and then you're probably going to go into the judgment of you, the right and the wrong, the I should and I shouldn't, and all that is distraction. All you're doing is distracting you from what you could be choosing. Oh my gosh, everything that is. Well, you destroyed and create it all. Right, wrong, good, bad, all nine, POD, shorts, boys, and beyonds. And the other thing you want to look at is, like, how much of your time, whether by yourself in your head, or by yourself out loud, or with family, with friends, are you solving problems? Because chances are it's a lot. And it's not, again, it's not wrong to do it, but if you're looking at having more ease with changing things that you would like to change, that really is going to be step one, is to stop trying to figure out the problem, because that's never going to create what you would like. So if you start just being aware of it, so let's say you go for coffee with some friends later, don't have to say a thing, don't even have to change the conversation. Just start being aware of how often you're going to problem, how often you're talking about the problem, how often you're trying to help somebody figure out the problem. Yeah, because the other thing that we do with problem, especially if it's that situation where somebody else has the problem and maybe they've come to us to ask for assistance or something, is a lot of times we attempt to help. And I'm putting air quotes for those who aren't watching this via video. And what help does, for the most part, is it disempowers the other person. So in Access, we talk about empowerment and disempowerment. So empowerment is asking a question, and disempowerment is giving an answer. And I know a lot of you parents are very good at giving answers, and you've probably even trained your kids that you're the answer person. You're the problem solver. You're the one who can help. And really, if you start looking at them as the infinite beings, or anybody that you do that with, start acknowledging them as the infinite beings they are, and they have capacities beyond capacities just like you. So you could start looking at retraining them. So if they come to you with their problem like they have in the past, you could just say, geez, I'm not really sure. What do you think you should do? Now you've turned it into empowerment. And it doesn't mean that you don't ever, give a suggestion or something. You just want to be really aware of the energy you're choosing it behind, like what's there with it. Because if it's like, oh, I need to fix this for you, or I need to help you, or I need to solve your problem, energetically what you're delivering to that other person is they can't handle it. And then what really becomes the problem is that when you're not there anymore, a lot of times they then don't know what to do. And so if you can start training those people, and it doesn't matter if they're not your kids, if they're friends, if they're your spouse, if they're, coworkers, if they're your boss, whoever it is, if you start training them now, and I say training, I don't mean that like, meanly, but if you start to train them to in a sense, look at it from like what they could do and ask them questions, then if there's ever a time you're not there, they know they've got it. Whereas if you've trained them that you're the person who knows, you're the answer person, you're the solution person, you're the problem solver, then you're really setting you and them up for tough times ahead. So really look at where you're being that for everybody. Again, if you'd like to change this, I assume if you're listening still, this is something you would like to change in your life and your living. So really paying attention to that and not judging when you do it. Okay? Because we are so brilliant that when people energetically come to us with this energetic projection of you'll fix this for me, we can go straight into problem solving without even being aware of it. So it's at whatever point you become aware of it, whether it's in the moment or 10 minutes later or 10 days later, hell, 10 years later, just acknowledge it and be like, oh yeah, look at that, I did that again. Okay, cool. So what's it going to take to change that? Yeah, and it just starts shifting and changing everything, so that when you're not putting all of your energy into problems, whether they're yours or somebody else's, what magic can you create? Like truly, what else is possible when you're not in that space of distraction with problems? Yeah, right, wrong, good, bad, all nine, bud, buck, shorts, boys, and beyonds. And for me, the distraction, I think I talked about this already, but for me, the distraction of the problem was the biggest piece. And what I started doing, so I took my very first foundation class, which is the second class in Access Consciousness. First is bars, which is the hands-on, points on the head, healing modality, magical. And then the next one is a 4 or 5 day foundation class. And so when I took that class, there's something in the manual still to this day, all of these years later, 10 years later, in the manual that's called distractor implants. And there's lots of different ones that there can be, we could be using to distract ourselves, like love, sex, jealousy, peace can be one, business, there's so many. And what I started doing, rather than kind of memorizing all of them, I just started asking myself, whenever I was in a spin, truth, am I distracting myself with this? Let me tell you guys, this was mind-blowing to me how much I was distracting myself. Like, way more than I ever would have considered. I thought that in order to solve a problem or to have it be different, that I had to figure it out. And to do that, I had to think about it a lot. And oh my gosh. And so I just started asking myself, truth, am I distracting myself with this? And then if I got a yes, which was 99.999999, you get it. It was a yes. Then I would say, okay, what can I add to my life right now to change this? Here's the thing. If we have time to be spinning in a problem, thinking about a problem, trying to figure out a problem, distracting ourselves in any way, we have too much time. So what can I add to my life today to change this? And we are capable of so much more than what we've been told we are, and in fact, what we've been told we should do. You know, I know when I really first started choosing what was more natural for me, having so many things on the go, having so many classes, having so much travel, all the things, you know, the question that so many people would ask me was, oh, you must be exhausted. It must be so hard to keep up with everything. It must be too hard. You must need a break. Like, I cannot tell you the amount of people that would say something or other like that to me. And all I could think, because I had been in that place and I had chose different. And what I knew for me was that the more that I add, the less exhausted I am, the less burnt out I am, the less time off I needed, because all of those were contributing, all of the things I was adding. And I mean, I mentioned a whole bunch of business stuff, but there's so much. I mean, as you can see behind me, the painting, which of course I also made into a business, so you can buy it. There'll be a link somewhere here, and a bunch of funny cups and all sorts of things. But like, there's so many things that I add to my life that before I would have told you was like, I shouldn't. You know, in fact, you're supposed to start doing less at some point. And in lots of ways I do less, and I continue to add to my life. So I'm not distracting myself with the doing as much. And there's this consistent adding. So the more that you're willing to add to your life, the less problems you'll have, because the less time, energy, whatever it is, you're going to put into it. So that's a huge tool that I give to everybody in, well, radio shows, classes, whatever, is truth, am I distracting myself with this? Yeah. Now, starting April 13th, I've got a bars class coming up in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. And then April 14th to the 17th is a foundation class in Saskatoon. And it is also available online. So you can join us however you would like to. I would love to have you come and play. And we will talk way more about the distractor implants, of course, and all the yumminess in the foundation manual. But really, that is such a huge tool, is really getting a sense of when you're distracting yourself and then being willing to change it, and just what can I add to my life right now to change this? Not how can I figure out this problem, or again, that huge lie of when I figure out this problem, then I'll blah, blah, blah. It's not true, guys. And I know we think it's true. I know we've told ourselves a million times over it's true. It's not. It's the distraction. It's the distraction. Okay, what if you would like to change whatever you've decided the problem is? What can you be and do different to change it? Right, wrong, good, bad, all nine, POD, POC, shorts, boys, and beyonds, and any of you that have given yourself the job of being the problem solver for whether it's yourself, your family, your friends, the planet, anybody, anywhere. Will you destroy and uncreate all of those times a godzillion? And would you be willing to request and receive the largest severance package ever for firing yourself from that job? Anything that doesn't allow that. Right, wrong, good, bad, all nine, POD, POC, shorts, boys, and beyonds. It's just something fun I like to put in there. And, I mean, really, how many ways could we pay ourselves when we fire ourselves from doing something that isn't creating greater anyway? Yeah, I know. There's so much with this topic, guys. Distraction is so huge, and it can be anything. I mean, some people will use, social media as a distraction. The thing is, not every time every person uses social media is it distraction. So it's no different than even with the distractor implants we talk about in Foundation. Is business is one of them. Well, yes, we can use business as a distractor implant, and we don't have to. So it really is recognizing in the moment of whatever it is you're choosing, truth, am I distracting myself with this? There's times where I will absolutely distract myself with social media, and there's times where I'm aware that it's creating greater. So it's just a choice. So whatever it is you're doing, don't assume that thing that was a distraction that one time is always. It's not. It's just being aware of it. And then you might go, yeah, I'm distracting myself, and I'm happy about it. It doesn't mean you have to stop watching TikTok videos. I say that because I quite enjoy the TikTok videos. Not all of them, but a lot of them really make me laugh, especially the comedy ones and the animal ones. Oh my gosh. And then of course there's makeup ones, but anyway, conversation for another day. And so really looking at it and being present with yourself and recognizing when you are distracting yourself and knowing you still have a choice with that. Yeah. Because just get a sense, and this is just probably going to be an energetic sense, but just get a sense of never having a problem to deal with ever again. Right? Like, how expansive is that? How delicious is that? Yeah. And distracting yourself with problem is just a choice. No different than not distracting yourself with problems is just a choice. Yeah. And for some choices, at least in my experience, for me to choose something different, it sometimes takes other things, whether I just require more awareness about it or I require to use some of the tools that I've talked about here. You could never ever choose problem again right from this moment forward. You absolutely could. And what would it take? And it's not about judging yourself if you don't, and using a tool or 10 or a million or using them for years and years to get to where you have way more space. Like just do what works and recognize that problems are an invention. They're a lie. They're made up. How many times actually have you thought it was a problem and then a day later, a week later, a month later, a year later, whatever it was, you recognize the gift in it. You went, oh my gosh, I'm so glad that occurred. Yeah. Another tool with the kind of energy you might think of with problem is, what's right about this I'm not getting? Yeah. What's right about this I'm not getting? So, if you get a flat tire on the highway, what's right about this I'm not getting? Because often what we'll do is, this is horrible, this is awful, this is wrong, it's because I did or I didn't, or all the insanity again, right? We get back on that crazy hamster wheel instead of, okay, all right, not what I'd like to be occurring right now, and what is right about this I'm not getting? And once we ask that, you're not looking for an answer, you're not going to sit and wait, ask again, no, you're just going to ask and be like, okay, what is right about this I'm not getting? And there's just an expansiveness with it. And sometimes we do get the information. It might be, a new lover that stops and changes the tire for us that we meet for the first time. Who knows? It could be a billion things. And sometimes we don't actually get to know. Maybe you got the flat tire and you avoided a head-on collision up ahead, but you wouldn't ever know that because you avoided it. So it's not that we want to figure out what's right about it. We're just asking that question so that we can be gifted the energy of truly what is right about this that we're not getting, and it gets us out of the problem, shock, and into that spaciousness and truly into what is. So, if you've got a flat tire on the side of the road, anywhere, that's what is. In that moment, that is what is. And so you can be as mad as you want, you could be as frustrated as you want, you could be as sad as you could choose whatever. It's not going to change that you need a new tire or you need to change the tire. And it doesn't mean you have to do it. That you call somebody or somebody stops for you or whatever it is, you get to still be magical in it. And the question is, what is right about this I'm not getting? So, just a little recap. The tool. Am I distracting myself with this? And I always like to ask that with truth in front. Truth, am I distracting myself with this? So if you're looking through your bank account, paying bills, and you're going into the insanity of there's never enough, we're going to be homeless, blah, blah, blah. Truth, am I distracting myself with this? Yep. How do I know without even, being in that moment with you? Because that energy that we're going to be homeless, there's never enough, that's never going to create more. Now, if you were looking at it going, there's not actually what I would like in here. What can I be and do different to change that? That's a whole different energy. See, where you go from the distraction of, oh, I can't, it's horrible, it's not enough, and blah, 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 blah on that hamster wheel. Instead, go to the creation. Oof, this isn't what I would like it to be. What can I be and do different to change this? And then maybe you look at, okay, do I talk to, my friend who said they were hiring? Do I look for another job? You just start looking. You just start getting curious with it. So, truth, am I distracting myself with this? And then if you get a yes, which you probably will, but if you do, you want to say, what can I add to my life right away to change this? And then the question also, what can I be and do different to change this? So that if you, rather than going into the problem, what can I be or do different to change it? So it's just looking like, okay, so there's not enough money in the bank account. All right, what can I be and do different to change it? What is that? Or whatever that is. So just some tools to take and play with, my sweet friends. I am so incredibly grateful for you guys. Thank you so much for being here. And I look forward to playing again next week.